What's going on, guys? Today, I'm going to be going over some of the games from the Battle of Americas. My team, Dragon Sail, was competing in it. Fortunately, we did not make it through. We choked. It is what it is. But since we were competing, I had to do scouting work both on the patch, on the players, on the teams, so I can actually give some insight on everyone. So let's go right into it, right? So we have Pain Gaming versus Vivo. This is a repeat matchup. They played in the grand finals for the CBLOL Academy scene, and Vivo won 3-2. Wow, that was a horrible 3. They won 3-2, but it was kind of fake in a way, mostly because they didn't really look like the better team to me at all. These guys clearly look like the better team. It's just they themselves could not finish it out. Like, they themselves partially choked, you could say. And I guess the biggest way to look between these two teams is Hidan and Marvin are like, they're big hitters. Okay? Like, big hitters. Oof, terrible. Big hitters, right? And let's see. Them, I don't really see anyone as really a big hitter per se. I feel like they play more, like, they're more dependent on like their general team play. I will say in like the mid-late stages, this guy does start performing more, so he's probably more of a focal point. And of course, Sarlu, this guy, he plays a lot of weird picks, like a lot of weird picks that are just off meta, and so he kind of uses that, like his pool, to kind of get advantages. And that's why you see the Elise ban, which is not something you're really ever going to see. And I don't know if this is actually a strong pick in the meta. Of course, things like Storm, what's it called? Storm Surge, I think that's what it's called, got buffed. The lightning proc item, like, it got a really solid buff. And, you know, that to him might just be enough to go for it. There's also some AP junglers where their clears have gotten a little bit nerfed. And in the end of the day, that's what they've done, and he's 2-0 on it. Like, he's literally 2-0 on this pick, so they're kind of giving a respect ban to it. And this is a respect ban to Kisee, so clearly, like, these two players are in their heads, and that's why they threw these bans out this way. But yeah, like I said, I don't really feel like anyone's like a true big hitter on this team. So if things don't go so well, or the draft is not like as ideal, I don't really count on them as much as I would with Pain. And Marvin, I'll say this right now, when I watch this guy, he actually can be pretty legit. Like, the way I saw him handling fights, the way he moved, it did actually catch my eye. So yeah, this guy is pretty interesting overall. And let's get into it, okay? So for this patch, these are 2 target bans. Yon is a legit pick, though. Like, he's a very, very good pick. So it's both a target and a, you know, good 1-3 ban. This champion got buffed on 14-17. Really massive buff. And then they slightly nerfed it, but it's still better than the 14-16 Varus. So it's still a net buff. So this is good good ban. Ashe is still perfectly fine. Good ban. Sejuani, perfectly good. Still good ban. So they basically just banned power picks. They banned power picks. They banned him. And then this is like a little more specific. You got a small nerf. I think Ezreal's still perfectly playable. So that's just a bit targeted, right? Let's see what their first pick. Because there's a lot of options you could first pick. Azir. So that is... Wait, did they really first pick Azir?
Qats, as well as the
wait. Well, that was super cool. That was like in an instant. So they took Azir in the 1P, which is, he got nerfs. He's definitely weaker, and you 100% will play, like, should play some of the more poke-based champs into him, or you can even play some of the fighters like Corki, even though he got a nerf, and you're chilly, you know? But, like, you could play LeBlanc into this, and it'd probably be really annoying for Azir. Because his early game damage nerfs are rather significant, honestly. It's pretty significant. And they took Asante just straight up, which I I feel like is not ideal because Hidan actually plays a couple of like annoying counters. And Kaisa straight up again, like I don't know about that one.
Long range of the Kisee did take it last time that VKS were able to play.
I'm kind of curious where they're going to go with this. Skarner is something we saw in LCK a lot. LCK, they played a ton of Skarner, and it varied. I mean, like Genji touched it, right? Genji touched it. I think DK did, and then same with KT. And the pick can be good. It definitely can be good, especially if like you're just gonna run into them. And right now, like you have two champions. Like, if assuming this is a Kisee who wants to dash in, like kind of want to do that. So the pick has some worth, but also like you can play a pretty standard kite back comp into this, and you're pretty happy. She can go poke, pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm expecting this starter very likely to be going to the jungle. Tatu.
Kalista. So here's the thing: you could play Kisee in the Kalista, but it's already like not the most ideal. I will say usually taking Kalista, like you would like to like pick your duo with it, like your support with it, but also you really want counter support. So they're probably gonna hold support till 4-5, and they should probably have to hold support till 5. And yeah, you could take your AD of choice. I don't know what they're thinking in the jungle. Brand is very good. You could take Brand, but then what do you have? Triss, Corki. Does he play Yasuo? Like, Yasuo Brand doesn't sound that good, though. He might not have... It might not be possible. And like I said, if you do it that way, you don't really want to take Yasuo into Skarner either. So, even though Brand is very good. So... And you ban the Sejuani. But Maokai's up. Maokai's pretty solid, honestly. It's a pretty solid pick. But like I said, because they did it this way, it's like it would have been a lot easier if they changed the 1-2s, because it's a little awkward now. And if you're gonna do the AP pick, and you can, then the AD pick will not be nearly as good into him. So you probably would take like Viego or something like that. So they take... This is locked in, right? So they took Trist. Okay, so if they're taking Trist, then they're going to take their AP. Okay. And again, Trist is... One of the best matchups for Azir in this patch is against Trist, by the way. Like, he took a massive hit against a lot of picks, but this is actually one pick that he's, like, happy about. So they took one of the only matchups in which Azir is like pretty happy to play into. I would have probably preferred picking the Corki, both for wave clear damage and, you know, just play it out from there. And then they're gonna then they would want to ban Maokai. Like, I definitely would want to ban Maokai, unless they feel like, again, like a true AP like carry is more annoying. In which case, yeah, I'd probably ban the Brand. And then you would consider banning Lilia as well against the Kalista.
Which does get banned away from Cade, but we have to be looking at what it is that Hidan can do to actually prove an advantage now that they are on the blue side.
Jax.
I'm going to be interested in this bot lane matchup now that we have the Kalista locked in. Every time we see Martin,
will they ban the Vlad?
And it really does show with his Bruce HK being 14.8. Definitely very aggressive.
Ivern? Okay, I'm going to be honest. I feel like Ivern is not nearly as annoying or scary for the comp.
Of this Kalista could give a foot forward for gaming in this game.
Yeah. Well, with the rest of the bans here, that's right. One thing
Renata. But the thing is, I feel like you don't need to ban Renata, because if you slam Renata in the 4-5, it's probably perfectly fine, unless he really doesn't have like a range support. But the range support would basically be like Bard or something like that, because you're always going to pick support on the 5. Like, you should probably always pick the support on the 5. So I don't really think you need to ban anything. Poppy. Wow, they really don't care about giving the AP jungler over. Poppy support has definitely been pretty damn good. It is good versus them as well. That is Honestly, that's probably fine. And then you ban your preferred AP jungler. I really don't think it would have been the Ivern, though.
Right here, coming out from VKS.A.
So there's the Maokai. They chose to take something that's for utility versus, and it, like, you know, they chose something for utility, and then in case they go a range support or something like that in the bot lane with Kalista, though it's pretty unlikely because like they already banned Monada, Ashe is banned. It means you don't have to match range support. So you definitely could have played like the Brand or the Lilia, which would have been way nicer in some cases. Compared to Maokai at this point, because you're definitely going to take a melee support. And then what do they take here at this point? Rell is probably the most preferred. They can take Alistar, not a big deal. Alistar's not even that great into Skarner. And the Rell is just, it has a lot of good tools at both taking the Maokai R with pressing W to get away, and of course just having just being a standard grid pick. So they're gonna go Gnar. Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty good, actually. They're taking the Alistar. Interesting. So they're taking the Alistar, which means I can go Bard. I feel like that's not bad, taking Bard here. It's like, you want to get you can get a pretty solid, like, initial lane start, because Alistar is so weak in the beginning. And I think the only thing they're going to consider is, like, if they want... I really don't think you want 3 melees, too. I think that's another thing to consider. I really don't think you want 3 melees into Skarner, into Azir. They're going to take it, though. They probably will take it. They probably will take a melee. But Bard, I think, is, like, clear out, like, the best thing. And taking Rell, it's like... As long as they get like, the middle side brush control, it's fine. But it's just... I don't like how this shaped up, because if you're going to take this melee support no matter what, regardless if it's, like, a net gain or not, then, like I said, I don't want to go the Maokai. Like, if I saw this comp with, like, a Brand, I'd be like, holy shit, okay, this is really good. Like, especially because Brand, or, like, Lilia, specifically Brand, though, would get Rylai's, and it slows Kalista, she can't jump as well. Like, there's a lot of, like, net positives, but... I would say is definitely favored for PNG. They got a... Like, they got a good top matchup, a good mid matchup. Bot lane matchup is, like, pretty damn good for them, and then this is, like, a middle ground, right? And all in all, it just looks better. It just looks better. Now, if this was Brand, like, if this was Brand, and then, let's say you're still going Rell, this wouldn't change, right? But this at least becomes in your favor, and this pick alone, like, can make this pick a bit worse. And this guy would do so much damage, like, it would, like, help a ton. But now it's like, oh, well, we don't really have much going on anywhere. So a lot of these teams don't know what they're doing with lane swaps. It would be a good game to lane swap, to be honest, for VKS. Like, getting the K'Sante out of the Gnar matchup, dodging that for a little bit. K'Sante can hit 6 safely without losing, like, being, like, down too much farm or anything like that. And then Kai'Sa Rell, they can fight the enemy bot lane. It does help Alistar dodge the level 1 situation, but honestly, like, it still feels like fine, right? And of course, like I said, none of these teams know how to lane swap, though. So in the end, it's not going to happen. If it was us, I think that we would definitely consider it. So they don't have middle side brush. The reason why it's so good to have middle side brush, typically, as, like, the Rell side, is because you will have the shield. And so when he walks in, you can literally just trade. He'll use a spell, maybe his Q, And if he doesn't, then you're just gonna auto attack him. And you might get like 1 to 2 auto attacks on him, and you're chilling. And then you have middle side brush control. And they can't place a board because you have this. So, and then you just steadily like gain control, which is huge for this, like for being this match. But these guys are here first, so maybe they're thinking about that. So we'll see. Because they're scared to walk in because this guy has the shield, right? So they need to approach and they take it over. Technically, like I said, they actually could have had the initiation with... Well, the only thing is like the Rel will flip him if he does it that way. I think he could auto... There's definitely a way to do this, which is pretty damn good. I think we actually had it in one of our matchups we could have done. And that when they're approaching, they can ward, right? But like they will never ward because if you're in there and you sweep it, then it's just gone. So like they never want to do that. And of course it's Kalista, so an extended trade is winning for them, not for you. Though the only thing I will say is like they have cleanse, right? Like they have cleanse, you have barrier. So that like that's your main advantage, right? But assume they never ward, you can stand here, they walk in, you can auto attack W as Alistar. He can throw an auto attack, so you get 2 autos plus a W, and you're gonna give this up anyways, right? Because they're gonna reapproach, you're probably gonna give this up anyways. But at least like kind of like, I'm pretty sure that's enough to do a little bit damage, a little bit chip damage to him, stalls us out, and then they still have to reapproach it, and you're chilling. Like Kaisa will auto and like Q you probably. That's the only downside, but if you have Aftershock, it won't be nearly as bad. Outside of that, yeah, like it is what it is. But it looks like they're just going to instantly give it up. No contest.
Tatu, same thing on his blue buff, that ward right on top.
Both junglers clearing down. Kisee, there's one thing I would know about Kisee, that he does something similar as APA. He actually likes to push the wave often. He's not really that great at trades on like in lane. Like I don't see his laning phase being that stellar. Okay, like I just don't see him being known for his laning phase. He's more known for like the way he fights and handles himself in the mid-late stages, but in terms of like laning phase, not so much. And yeah, like and that's a little bit like APA, and he puts a higher preference on wave control, pushing the wave, and like getting wards, which is good. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. Now, of course, I say that, and naturally he gets a trade, and then I like, you know, it is what it is. But like, like he hit level 2, and the Zir just, I don't know. Because this guy's jumping in, and it looks like a Zir just extended out for some odd reason. I'm not really sure why. Like, if you look at the positioning, like the Zir's by his turret, like nothing bad's gonna happen. I don't know. That should not happen. But he somehow gets a full stack E on him, which, like I said, this does not happen.
Yeah, he's not really liking this trade right now. Qats.
Okay, that was extremely pointless for him to do that as well, but sure.
And that's the thing. Qats hasn't.
So these guys wave 2 crash, which is like, okay, cool, I guess. It doesn't really do much outside of being able to get a ward. And top lane's already getting railed, which is not good.
You do have pretty good setup when it comes to having that Alistair. So headbutt pulverize, or you can just flash for the pulverize. Could set up the Skarner in bottom lane. But the wave being so pushed in, it does make it rather hard for VKS.A to actually approach the wave.
So I'll say that off that first trade that Kisee got, that's a mistake by Oats, or Qats, sorry, Oats, Qats. But once he gets that, it's like checkmate. You know what I mean? Like, of course, okay, I say it's check. I shouldn't say checkmate because checkmate's more definitive, but it's like a check. Like, okay, you're 50% HP, you're gonna lose both pots. Now I just have to chill, play for my conditions. Azir cannot spend his spells that heavily to poke because he has bad mana. Like, the mana in the early game is pretty bad. So he can't overextend in that sense. He's gonna burn both pots. You're gonna play a patient, solid, higher CS game, and you got your advantage off the first TP. But he used his second W for fun, aka emotional trading, aka like just not thinking, and he lost his advantage. So we get a dead even state that just should not be the case.
Yeah, both mid laners also being teleports relatively early in the lane. Kisee going to go ahead and back away, grab that gold because there's a bit more priority to play with 4 Kisee and teleport earlier. They're going to be first stone bottom side. Tatu from mid.
Ooh, gonna get right onto Kisee before Kisee can find the reset. Now more damage coming in. Buying time, Sarah Lou hops.
Rough. That is really rough, because both junglers, you know, like I said, like they both showed, they're both clearly going into mid lane. They see the Maokai knows he's shown, and he jumps in as the Maokai is leaving. And this is why I say not exactly known for his training, because this doesn't make any sense. This is just like jumping in because you feel like you can do it for fun. So he lost all of his HP. Azir has pots, lost his flash. That's crazy. And keep in mind, Azir just needs like some levels, some items, and then he's like perfectly fine, right? Like the levels, especially because the way they did the nerf was like the WAP ratio. So he lost level 1. He lost 20% on the W. And then he gets, what is it, 5% back, right, each time. So then finally when he hits level 7, or sorry, not level 7, level 9, then he's chilling, you know? Then he's back. And, you know, it needs to be more so like level 7 is like probably like the more like important one, like level 7, right? Even level 5 is like okay, but like this is like important. And the better he can do in those initial phases, then, you know, good, like great, you know? 10 CS lead for top lane. Bot lane is hard chilling. Did these guys base on a ranged wave? They did. But it looks like they crashed. So they're basing on a ranged wave. And the support is not staying, which I think is a huge error by him, by the way, because if these guys do decide to just push it. Oh, he did. Okay, good. He canceled his base. That's good. I don't know if he thought this guy was gonna rat him, but it's good that he canceled his base, because in the end of the day, it's like if they fast push, he has to hold the wave. Like if he doesn't hold the wave, then he just lose it. So the Skarner has a couple options. Grubs is coming up. His top lane has TP to come back. He's looking mid. It's kind of useless, because at this point, for how he plays this, he could come down here, up here, and then go into Grubs. They have the Shrine, and you're fine, right? Like the Gnar can TP to fight off the Maokai if he shows there, right? And we already know that the Maokai wants to clear down the same as him. Like nothing's different. I think the main difference, I guess, in the end is that when you look from here and he's contesting the Raptors, the Maokai is already finishing out this side of his clear, so he's faster. And the Skarner still needs to do this. And I feel like at this point, he shouldn't base. Like, if I'm the Skarner, looking at how this map is, like, I want to play for Grubs. Like, I have Callista, I also want to play for Dragon. And if you're going to play for Dragon 100% and you don't care about the Grubs, then you're going to do, like, Raptors, Krugs into bot lane, and you're playing for drag. If you want to have like the most like ability, like best ability to like react, like their mids can be on first base. Like Kisee is coming back, he's gonna be on first base. So you're not gonna have mid push. So like right now there's just gonna be a downtime. Like you're basing, you're matching base, but there's just like a downtime of doing nothing. And in that sense, like you definitely could have just done the Raptors, done the Krugs, bot lane chills out, and it is what it is. You know?
Yeah, I mean, with the rock through at the entire end of the game, at the same time, on the top of the map, we're seeing Boost trade the boost carry compared to Fade, but Pain Gaming moving down is relatively uncommon to see from the blue side. They're the ones starting out the first.
So we play for drag. That was their goal. They're just gonna play for drag. We're not using our Gnar. See, like, this is just what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna play for the drag no matter what, he definitely could have just, like, finished out his clear and then he could react to whatever happens on either side, but he decides to, well, do one camp, gank mid, do drag. It's very funny that he ends up dying just because they decided to contest the grubs, so yeah, they lose his flash. But man, is this really how this should work? Because he does the drag. He does this. And this is gone. So the Maokai doesn't have anything to do there anyways, so he's playing for the red. And then he re-invades. And what is the enemy bot lane doing? Like what? Like the Rel's basing, but the Rel's bot while grubs are up? He assumes it's already done. It's a done deal. And they back off, and this guy takes another base. But I don't know why he would take another base, because he's barely been balling. Like, they're on the grubs, and I guess they're just afraid of being a play by Skarner. But then Skarner shows mid. So naturally you want to stay bot, and so you should just pull the wave. Because the chances of you finding something is pretty slim. So these two should just stay bot, hold the wave, and not let this guy play. That's it. That's all you need to do. And if he throws the wave, then it's even worse, right? But like, you're clearly playing into bot lane, but like we're doing nothing. We're just watching him collect the wave, 1v2. Really bad. That's really bad. And he's even crashing it, which looks like they base on... I can't really tell. It might have been a range wave, I don't know. So, Talos, or whatever you want to say his name is, Talos, accomplished nothing. And Giggs is able to just be with grubs, like go help push off grubs, and then move up still, and even contest this guy. That's crazy. That's a huge mistake by VKS and their bot lane. Like, getting grubs is great for them in some senses, but like, just how that turned out, that is not great.
Yeah. You have to remember that they didn't get to see Cerulean Flash, but they had a pretty good idea. Like, wait a second, there's no Maokai in the pit when they walk on over to see the void grubs as they're taking down.
Rough.
Except with that summer spell, so making sure they can
Rough.
see how calm Qats was with that ultimate, with his willingness to dash in, knowing there's no escape coming through for the Maokai once he puts it down. So first blood going over there, rapidly on the way towards the Nashor too. And at the same time, one of the big things is this bottom lane, however, for K-Stars, is trying to pick up a little bit of speed. You generally expect that this lane is going to be a bit behind. Going through the course of Morteus and Hellas doing a good job finding some early advantage. But as they're pushed around, they're moving for the top half of the map really early to try and control the next rep spawn.
Why are they basing like that? What? That's crazy. So they just dropped the bot wave to base on another range wave, so they could do this swap. And then Kisee just died with flash and W up. What is he doing? What is happening here? Why is he just hitting? Why is he hitting the cannon this way? He's just literally dying. Okay.
Oh man, they're almost through it. Away,
I mean, like, grubs are not even up still yet, so there's like no rush to do that. And yeah, that's really bad. That guy's just dead because he's late. Okay. Huh. Okay. Okay, well this is really bad. I mean, if he dies, he's just dying because he's just overextended, you know? Like, they just used Skarner R, their Azir is low HP, their Kalista is dead. If he wants to do the crap, that can be okay, but Skarner's really slow at this shit. And, yeah, like, I mean... I mean... What can I say? But so far in this game, like, Pain is... I think, I mean, honestly, in the end of the day, it's a lot of it just stems from the way the Rel's playing and the way Kisee's playing. Because Kisee kind of screwed them over with how he, after the first solid trade he got, he like screwed over the game after that. It made the game way harder than it needed to be. And then Talos is just like, invisible. And the reason, okay, there's one thing I noted going into the tournament was I felt like the majority of the supports should not touch Rel. Because I thought the majority of the supports just don't know how to play that kind of champion. Like, play a style in which, like, you need to be the front runner, the person who's making plays, who's, like, giving off pressure. Like, they're better playing on the reactive stuff, like Alistar, like Poppy. And that's something Giggs, like, is good at, right? So, yeah. And so in this situation, you know, second Grubs comes up, and there's something to note. So look, Drag is up in 4. Okay, Drag's up in 4:30. There to Drag. I'm a liar. The thing is, when you have the Grubs coming up and you already took the first set, you don't need to play for the second Grubs. Like, that doesn't have to be a thing. So they decide to send everyone to this, and they're dropping the bot wave. They don't have TPs to recover it. Actually, they might in time. They might actually have it. Oh, right, dude. I am so sorry. My brain is just lagging. Just lagging. They already have the 6 Grubs. Oh, that's actually even worse then. Man, my brain is really lagging. I'm so sorry. So, the 6 Grubs are in Vivo Key's favor, and based on that, if you're playing for Herald, it's not a necessity because you have 6 Grubs. You can trade into bot really easily. So does Triss have Bork here? Doesn't have Bork. Okay, so you don't have Bork. Everyone's taking a base. What is my Maokai doing?
Getting that play. And then use hex flash over the wall. Nope. Doing the other way, just gonna bluff it out. Crashing the wave into the tower, getting that play. Gonna be the bigger.
This guy has 1 ward on support, so he needs the base. And Grubs is up in a minute. I would take my topside camps at this point if I was Sarlo. I would have taken my red, I would have taken my Krugs, I would have based, I would have gone into bot. This guy cheating to wave top is perfectly fine. The Triss goes back into bot side. The Cassante can go top to slow recover. He has TP coming up. We push mid one time and we play for the, like, we play for something, you know? Like, we play to take turrets. Because if you want to, like, sling everyone into this, I mean, like, I guess you can, man, but it's just, I don't know. Because if you look at this, like, Gnar could have just went straight into this. He could. But he's gonna go bot because he has TP. So he's gonna go bot because he has TP. They're really strong. Like, enemy team is really strong. The fact that they're, like, not wanting to fight this is wild. Like, Azir is gonna come down. He has blue trinket, so he should blue trinket the brush, just in case. And this guy just killing himself, this is, like, whatever. Like, this shouldn't happen, and, like, this fight should be losing for VKS. Like, the map state is really losing, even. Because if you can blue trinket and see that this is still up, he's just hitting this turret. Okay, he's hitting this turret. He's building his stacks for rage. They're going to ward TP. He's going to come down, and your team has to just fight. And the Alistar should be face checking, by the way. I don't know why he's not face checking. Like, he has R, and then they have Kalista R. I don't know why he's the one who's face checking. They have really good tools to just, like, gauge. And yeah, this just looks terrible. Like, we're giving up top wave and bot wave just for a Herald when we have 6 Grubs. Like, just sounds terrible. But he kills himself, so, you know, they still get the bot turret situation, but, like, yeah, like, Tatu just dies for no reason.
And consider the more you're going for a dragon stacking win condition. I mean, you're stack 2 very early. If you're gonna give up more and more gold, it's gonna be harder later on when VKS to actually choose to take a 5v5 dragon.
Yeah, and we do have to note that Pain Gaming, they're looking quite good right now. I do like what we've been seeing is Qats is able to get the cluster shot coming out from Kisee, but one of the things that has been plaguing them so far in this tournament has been the fact that their lane allocation has not been as good as Pain. They've oftentimes been pulled around hard, why they had to come back in a couple of their victories, like what they had going up against Fear, where we were consistently in better places on the map. But Pain have been so clutch when it comes to team fighting, when it comes to actually going for the pick later on in the game, has been a major comeback mechanism so far.
Kisee already looking for the side lane. I see that, madman. setting up in the bottom lane. There's not that much help left onto the bot lane tower, so this is where a lot of the econ is going to go for VKS.A. Should be able to take this out. Yun's looking for angle. Tatu's now getting called down, so this is the call to bail for Kisee. Floss is over there to scout out Tatu in his approach. Tries to clear control, can't even get that. To
Do I even feel like he needs to move in this way? Because like they lean top, they take it, cool, whatever. Skarner wants to farm camps. It looks like this is perfectly fine. We don't even need to play on this wave. There's no point on playing this wave. We're not on the mid wave yet. They're not on the mid wave yet. Just do your red. Like the Alistar will come down here and chill out. Because he needs to do these camps. Like this is just like a thing. He needs to do these camps.
We're also staying back and forth consistently. Don has gone from the top lane to bottom lane, back to top lane again, trying to stay ahead of a lot of plays. But it is going to be Tyrion who's up there in the top side. This is a good lane swap coming through from PNG.A, making sure they have control over the course of the map. We know how powerful Narf lane can be if you build up some of that rage. But just as importantly, it's a win matchup.
Okay, so now we're back on the map, and now we're finding mid 3 strong to shift into bot side. So Azir can connect into the rest. We're showing literally everyone on the wave for some odd reason. Why is everyone showing on the wave? Like, if they want to all show on the wave, like, be my guest, it's not going to do anything. The Gnar doesn't have to move down either. Like, he could. He really could, right? Like, push this wave, come down, but the next wave is already coming up. And with everyone just like I said, everyone just literally showing, Trist has no TP. I'm not letting this guy just like take the wave as is. Like, this is something Hidan should understand, is like, just keep going. Like, fuck this guy, you know? Like, screw this guy. And again, because they're all showing a wave, like, I can also contest this. He can TP, that's the only thing to consider, but Gnar can also TP to match. And all in all, it's like, it's whatever. If they start a full-on fight around mid-wave, again, they have TP on Azir. Like, there's definitely, like, this clear advantages on Pain's side compared to VKS, but, like, these guys are just doing the, I don't know what to do, let's group mid. And now we have K'Sante here, and now Gnar is here, and yes, the dragon's coming up, but like, this is a situation where I feel like Pain does not need to like answer this ARAM. Like, look at your comp. What poke does your comp have? Kalista Q, but she's not lethality. Azir WQ, I guess. Enemy team, also really not much poke. Like, you're just gonna find an objective. That's it. That's literally all you're gonna do. And now that now they had the TP advantage, that it doesn't matter. TP advantage literally doesn't matter. So now we're just ARAMing. We're ARAMing, not really useful, whatever. And both teams are just having fun. Now we're starting to drag. These guys pulled back from the mid turret because they didn't want to lose it. And I guess the main advantage from this in the end of the day for how this turned out was Trist is still fully pushing out the bot wave. And I mean, like, Azir could easily hold mid if they're gonna stack. And like, you just send one to answer bot, but they didn't. And so now like the Herald's like kind of whatever. But at least the Trist is actually eating good and hitting bot fully. And since she's bot and no TP, then they get the mid turret. It's just kind of a set of plays that the order of things is just not precise. And yeah, I understand why Pain was like trying to overgroup in a sense, because to them it's like, oh shit, like if we get this, we're on soul point, like we should put everything we have into this. And it's like, yeah, you can, but like, you kind of just gave up an advantage you had because you didn't feel confident on executing the right play. Which, I mean, it is what it is in the end of the day, right? But
right time too, it's gonna stop the
what just happened?
Looking for Qats, talking about why it can be so dangerous for K'Sante playing into the
So he's pushing up here. They don't have top vision yet. So technically he should not touch this wave. He should just chill out. But he goes on it, so this leads into Trist making a play on him. You know, if she flashes this and she keeps pumping, he's gonna have to like flash away as well. And Maokai should also just start his R. Like, this guy could die. He could die. And the K'Sante can cancel the Gnar.
first buy comes out. At the right time, too, it's gonna stop the reset.
He might die canceling the Gnar, but like,
Yeah, the fact that Kisee
but he didn't go for it. No big plays. So now the Tristus lost her conditions. The only thing I don't like about this is like, once he wins this way, like we need to do another wave mid.
yeah, the fact that
Like,
Kisee
if we can secure this vision, you secure this vision up here, right? Like, get this. Sorry, let's do it on this. Get this. Catch this wave. Now we bounce between these two. Gnar shifts up. Like, he doesn't need to play into bot anymore. He could shift up. And he could actually be the one catching this wave if he's on time. Looks like he's gonna be off time, so they kind of have to delay a little bit. And then you have control of all this, right? And that's awesome.
didn't get all the explosive power going on that E, not getting a reset, suddenly the Qats very safe in this fight,
But
especially with all the pressure that the team is providing.
the way they handled it,
Not letting,
like they...
not playing style that Qats had, letting success against both them and other teams in America.
He has 2 wards, by the way. I don't know why Alistar did not use the wards. And so now they're hitting Baron with like literally 1 ward, which is usually like not how you do things. It's pretty bad to do it this way. It works out for them in the end, but like, I just want to say, like, if hitting Baron and like if you turn Fog of War on, all they see is this and this. Like, they see these 2 areas and that's it. They don't see any of this. So it's just, we're just hitting it, you know? Like, we're literally just hitting it. And so like Skarner goes in, but like Telos is like so slow at reacting, it's crazy. Like Alistar just used W, doesn't have Q. All these guys are clearly on this side hitting. No one is near because you have a pink that shows this area, so no one is here, or sorry, no one is in this area to assist this guy. No one. So he goes in. This guy should instantly engage on this guy. And we should start blasting him. He's gonna have 1 HP, and he already fucked up. Big time. Like, this guy should not be able to get out of this situation. He completely screwed this up. And now this is bait. This is huge bait time. Because if you run into these guys, then you have everyone else turning onto you. So this is bait. This is too far. Okay, this is too far. You already successfully got them off the Baron. Now you control this space and the mid wave, and you won. Okay, that's all you have to do. But he goes right in, and now we're all, look at this. We're 4 stack all here. And now look who gets to hit us. Them. The Triss is trying to walk up. Okay, I'm gonna attack you. How does that turn out? I mean, the Zero doesn't have R, the Triss has Flash. Can she win? He needs to pump. Like, he needs to jump in on this guy and draw the pressure so they're not getting smashed. Because if he's not doing his job in this situation, it's GG. Whoa, my god. Kisee absolutely. Okay, so first error. The first error was here. This guy should have already been dead. And then they could have actually played on the Baron themselves. It's like, actually, you know, they might not play on the Baron because if they lose too many spells, Azir's gonna base TP anyways and have good conditions. But in the second situation, it's on Kisee because he should pump and risk his life on Qats. And if he could pull attention, they win. They will win. They will actually win how this turns out at the end of the day, right? Because of how low Qats was still. But he flubbed it super hard. Oh my god. Rough. Really rough.
I got the whole health bar and used the whole health bar. What about the second half of the fight? Goodbye. Mortalis just falls, unfortunately. That does result in straight up Kane gaining. You see the gold lead. It's been growing and growing consistently as this game has been going on. About 5k now in the lead and setting up for potentially what could be Dragon Soul right here in 40 seconds. Yeah, 40 seconds left. No teleport on Hidan, no teleport on Tyrion. Not sure how they're going to be moving around this map. We are seeing the second item starting to come through for a lot of players. The red wins the stairs already done for Hidan as well as Tatu. Second item not quite done yet for Qats.
There's no way they get this. There's just no way.
Alistair ultimate now, you're hoping for Gates to pop that. So it means he can still fight, he can still engage, and Pain Gaming are going to seize the opportunity right onto the tree. They are lumberjack, they'll whack that right down. Now Terry looking for an angle with the all out. Here comes Kisee off again for second top laner. Keon's moving forward though, looking for the angles, looking for the play.
It's just too difficult. At this point with how their comp is and like all the mistakes they've made and the gold difference, like it's just, especially like when your lead off is like you're trying to pick off the Alistar, but it's like really you're trying to pick off the Alistar. Like losing your spells, if you lose Maokai R for Alistar R, you lost. Like you already lost. So they die. They'll lose the Dragon Soul, right? That's gone. This is, should wait. What? Hold on. These guys die. And they send Callista to solo it while also trying to do. Oh my god, these guys are so. These guys are ridiculous. They don't ever have enough time to do all this at once. Well played. Well played, bro. Ooh, he fucking threw his autos on Rel. Too cute. He actually had it. Marvin had it. But he killed himself. He had it. Turning alive, this Tatu is deep on this chase, but Pulverize comes out, and Saralu again, fed to the wolves. Morteus, there is no escape. Slammed right into that wall, another double kill now for Qats. So this is where you're gonna see a lot. In a lot of these games, you're gonna see the enemy team, or like both junglers kind of going for these fast plays and willing to sacrifice like camp tempo and things like that to be present for their team, to let their players like flex up, fight, and in the end of the day, like I said, the Maokai pick was, for how things were drafted, the Maokai pick was not good. And the Rel pick, it was not good because of the player playing it. And the Triss pick I thought was not good as well. I mean, like, Triss pick would only have been good if you had a carry jungler, carry AP jungler, but generally, I would advise not taking Triss into the Azir. And that's the first game. That's the first game. Okay. MVP, guys. MVP. MVP. Honestly, even though I don't like how he sacrificed some of the situations, it's probably Tatu. Like, he's made mistakes and everything, but he did well enough that, like, clearly that was, like, good. And, like, worst player of the game. It's definitely him and him. I mean, these two, like, really screwed up the game for VKS in the end of the day. But Tatu did really well, and Marvin was fine. I mean, there was not as much, like, situations for him to really, like, do as much. Also, I'll say some of the base timers and ideas that they were doing for this guy were really bad. Like, you could almost just throw bot lane as a whole because of, like, those base timers were not ideal. And yeah, that's the first game.